So it was my brother who mentioned this phrase to me, the imposter syndrome. I hadn't heard of it before, so I did a lot of research around it, and get this, 70% of the population will experience this feeling at least once in their lifetime. And it's that feeling of thinking that you're a fraud, that you're a pretender, that people are going to realise that you're not that good at what you do, or who you really are wouldn't be enough for people. And the flip side of it is, when we are successful, we dumb down our achievements. We pretend like it's luck or whatever. When I read the part that said it is a very common experience for high achieving women, well, I knew I needed to get my girls to talk about it. So Genny, when you moved from Aruba to go live in Canada for a number of years, you actually also lived under the imposter syndrome, didn't you? In the sense of, you believed, what if people were to know the real me? Is that right?
Yeah. So as Mar said, I'm from this tiny island in the Caribbean called Aruba, and I mean, growing up, especially my last years of high school, while everyone else was partying, my plan was eyes on the prize. Because I'm gonna get away from all of this. My parents won't be able to tell me what I can do and what I can't do. So I'm gonna work hard and get to uni, and then I'm gonna live my life. And that was kind of the plan in the back of my mind. And so I got to uni, and I picked Canada because it was different. No one from a tiny island in the Caribbean was going there, really. And so I got there, and my first 2 years was quite calm. I mean, it was quite quiet. I got a really steady, good group of friends that were encouraging. I went and spent part of the summer in Kenya doing voluntary work, and just was becoming a grounded young woman. And I got back from that trip at the end of my second year of uni, and just kind of felt like I wasn't quite living life. And I didn't quite know what that meant, but I felt like I was missing out on stuff. And I got in with a group and began to go out way more, and that's when I began to kind of go, oh, if I begin to show these people who I really am, I don't think they want to be around me. Who wants to be around the Poindexter? Who wants to be around the nerd? Who wants to be around the person that's probably not that exciting? And so it began with little white lies of who I was, or what I liked, and what my hobbies were, what my parents were like. And it was little things that you think, oh, that's just really innocent. But the problem with that is, you then have to maintain that story going on.
Wow. And
then you have to build on that story. And before you know it, you've lied yourself in a corner, because everyone knows you as Genny Brown that's going to go do that and da-da-da-da, and is that, and actually you just want to be Genny Brown.
Wow.
You just want to be quiet, you just want to be you, but you can't. It was really empty, and I hated being by myself. And I could barely look at myself in the mirror. I felt like such a fraud. And I thought, oh God, how am I going to continue this? Like, this is a lot of pressure. And I knew it was going to come to a head at some point, which it did. And the worst part of it is that I had kind of shed my really good friends for this group of people that, didn't really like me, or didn't really like me because they didn't really know me.
Yeah.
And so when things came to a head, I ended up losing on both ends, because I lost the friends that I had made, being Cool Genny, and then I also lost the friends that I had, from before, and I actually lost out on a lot, and I ended up hurting people, and I ended up being hurt, and at the end of uni, I went back home for a bit, and I remember just carrying that shame, being ashamed of what I had done and how I had lied, and also being back with my family and feeling ashamed for feeling ashamed about them. And that guilt that stayed with me. And I remember I went to counseling, and the lady that was counseling, she said to me, you are not defined by the mistakes that you've made, and you are not defined by that persona that you created. You made a mistake. Everyone makes mistakes, and it doesn't matter how big or how small they are. You get to decide whether they're gonna impact your future, whether you're gonna continue to live by that, or whether you're gonna go, no, it's a new chapter. I'm gonna create a new chapter. And then I moved to London, and and I was a woman on a mission. I was going to be super truthful. I wasn't going to hide who I was, but in that, funnily enough, I was also really scared because I thought, what if they find out? My new friends in London, what if they find out about what I've done in Canada and how I was? And I was so careful. Like, I'd get home after hanging out with people and I'd check myself and be like, were you truthful in this? And were you overly charming, trying to like make sure that you're not being a nasty side of yourself? And it was exhausting.
Just thinking that.
It was
that word.
exhausting.
It's exhausting.
And that stayed with me for a while until I realized, oh my gosh, this group of friends, they're not going anywhere. They actually quite like me for me, you know. And it was amazing to actually have that. And I felt like in London, for the first time, I was free to be myself and to discover who I really was in a safe environment with people that championed me. Like, I couldn't believe that there were people that would really come alongside you and believe in you and love you. Even though you made mistakes, they were still there, you know. They weren't going to judge you. And that was brilliant, because that's what I would give to anyone. Like, I would happily give that kind of friendship to anyone, but I had realized I had put up a wall, or I had just expected that no one would ever give me that kind of friendship, you know. So it was quite a journey to come to this point of, I don't have to be anything else but myself, and I am enough.
A word of encouragement for the viewer, or a practical take home?
You have something really important to give to your world, and don't hide behind a mask, because a mask is just a lie, and it's a hindrance, and it's hindering the world from seeing who you are, and it's hindering you from experiencing the world. And that would be such a shame if you got to your deathbed and you realized, I didn't quite live, you know? So that would be my encouragement, is live your life as you are, and don't be ashamed of who you are.
Genny for president. Like, where do I sign?
Thank you so much, thank you.
Next time on the 7 series.
I find it very hard to talk about it, and mainly because I just don't feel like I deserve those, or oh my gosh, I need to do even more now because I need to make sure that they don't find out that actually I'm not that good. So it's exhausting. It's a constant battle that you're fighting.